Hello, welcome to Movement Not Miracles. I'm Anna from Eat, Move, Be Happy. It's the 1st of October. Gosh, how has that happened? And we're heading into autumn big style. So Movement Not Miracles is all about giving you some ideas on how you can, I think we're going to be joined by the cat, on how you can look after your joints and your posture, stay a bit more mobile and stretch through some of those muscles, hopefully to ward off some of those aches and pains that we can get when we sit still for too long. So the first top tip is to keep moving and not to sit still for too long. But today I'm going to focus on twists and more twists, which should help get some movement through your spine. Certainly going to work on some hip stuff. And hopefully we'll feel a little bit more mobile and stretched at the end of this very brief session, bite-sized session. So to start off with, we are actually going to, you can do this seated. I'm going to stand up. So and we're just going to encourage our spine to wake up and start moving. So think about your weight being evenly distributed between your left and your right side. If you've been doing the Movement Not Miracles with me over the last goodness knows how many months, you'll be used to that by now. I like to fold my arms across the front because it gives me something to aim for, and so try and get my arms all the way around. You can use your arms as a bit of a pendulum if you like. I don't mind, whichever's easier for you, but we're just going to encourage some movement through the spine. So we actually want the whole body to twist around. So if you are using your arms, it's not just the arms twisting. So we're not just moving through the arms, we're actually moving through the whole body. Your spine should move. Granted, it doesn't move as much as some of your other joints, but it should move. And when it doesn't, and things get stiffer, and your muscles get stiffer, and that's when we can get some aches and pains. So you may find when you can do these when you're, I don't know, waiting for the kettle to boil. So you can get a bit more movement as your back warms up. And obviously that's a mobility one. We're going to progress to slightly harder moves as we go through, and I'm going to do a bit more on twisting, because it is twists and more twists after all, and we're going to hold the twist for a little bit longer in a second, but at the moment we're just sort of getting everything moving. So widen your stance a little bit, sitting nice and tall as ever if you're doing these seated, and we're just going to do some side bends. So we're going to encourage our spine to move in a slightly different way now. So reaching down the side of your leg. At the moment, we're just reaching down. We're not going to introduce the stretch through the side using the other arm, but we will in a second. And as you get a bit more used to it, think about going a little bit further. Keep breathing. Try and make sure that you're staying in that sideward bend, so we're not bending forwards. So if I show you from the side, we should be staying in that side plane and not bending forwards like this. So we're properly encouraging movement through our spine rather than forward flexion through our hips. Right, so now we're going to introduce that arm, so reach up with one arm, down with the other, and so we get a nice stretch down the side as well. Some of the more observant amongst you will notice that I've got 2 t-shirts on, and it's mainly because it's cold. Well, it's absolutely because it's cold. I was going to put a long sleeve one on, but I just took my jumper off and stuck my Eat, Move, Be Happy t-shirt on over the top. Right, where are we up to? So this one, you can do these seated, or I'm going to do them kneeling. So kneeling down with you don't have to sit right back on your heels, but we're doing the elbow to elbow twist. I think we did these yesterday. So one hand behind the head, and we're going to bring your elbow down to your other elbow, and then twisting all the way up, trying to get this elbow as high as possible. Now it helps if you push away from the floor with your supporting hand. So you're reaching down elbow to elbow, and as you reach up, push away with that supporting hand. And we're going for movement, so just a slight hold at the top. Think of elbow up and back. Okay, I'm going to do some on the other side. Trying to encourage some movement through your upper back, your upper thoracic region, which is typically where we get really stiff. It's harder to move than your mid and lower back. For most people, typically that's what happens. Right, now I'm going to have to move the cat. She's jumped back on the chair, but we're going to do some seated twists in the chair, and we're going to hold these a little bit longer, so she's not going to be very happy. Hang on 1 second. I'll just put her in her other bed. She might come join us, but we'll see. Okay, so you're using your chair. I want you to sit away from the back of the chair and sitting nice and tall. So perching on the edge, but so that you're safe. I don't want you falling off. And sitting nice and tall so your weight is evenly spread, evenly distributed between your left and your right bottom bone. And we're aiming for a twist round. So one hand to the opposite thigh and reaching back, staying sitting tall. So as you reach back, I want you to try and avoid slouching down. So sitting nice and tall and get hold of the back of the chair. So I'm pulling on the chair and I'm pulling on this thigh. Sitting nice and tall, I'm trying to bring my chest all the way round. So, and each time you breathe out, see if you can bring your chest a little bit further round. So this is a definite twisting motion, but you are holding the move, so it's more of a stretch. And you should think of, I'm twisting round to my right, so my right arm is on the back of the chair. And so I'm squeezing that shoulder blade in particular onto the back of my chest. I can feel my left one as well. So we're thinking of broadening across your collarbones. So when we do the shoulder rolls and we squeeze our shoulder blades together, that's the action that I want you to think of. I'm going to stay this way and see how much of the writing on the back of my t-shirt you can read as I twist round the other way. So again, sitting nice and tall. And each time you breathe out, see if you can twist a little millimetre more. Squeezing those shoulder blades, broad across your collarbones, and nice and relaxed everywhere else. So we're going to do that one more time on each side, because we all know the second time is better than the first. So round we go. My tummy's rumbling. It's lunchtime. Apologies if you can hear it. And once more around the other side, see if you can read a little bit more of my t-shirt. Think of twisting through each vertebrae. Imagine them all stacked up together. Okay, that feels quite good. Where are we up to? Right, another seated stretch, but this time on the floor. If you are, you need to go out, cat. What do they say? Never work with children and animals? If I'd put her out there before, she'd have been scratching to get back in. Not to worry. Right, so you can do these, or you can do a version of these sitting on the floor, sitting in a chair. That's absolutely fine. So if you can sit on the floor and cross your legs, we'll do this one first. So there's your twist, the cross of the legs. And to start off with, I just want you to think of relaxing through your knees and just reaching forwards over over your knees, but imagine you've got a ball in between resting in the nest of your legs. So you're trying to round yourself down over the ball. So we're getting a bit of a stretch through our back, but also you should feel, well, I feel a stretch in my hips. So you're rounding down, so we're not just collapsing into it, we're trying to round over that imaginary ball. And just breathe. And then just swap the cross of your legs so that the other foot is forwards. It just changes the balance of the way you are sitting and your hips. Round forwards again. It's a version of a butterfly stretch. You can do this stretch with your feet together and encouraging your knees to go down and then reach over. But as you can tell, I'm particularly stiff at the moment, but my hips are not very flexible and I need to raise my height, so I thought I'd do a slightly easier version today. And then we're going to finish with, and this one you can do if you're sitting in a chair. I'm going to finish with a Piriformis stretch, so stretch through the outside of your hip and a twist. But you can do this one sitting on a chair if you bring one ankle to rest on your thigh and reach, just bend forwards and you'll feel the stretch through the outside of your hip. So it's a version of this one. If you're sitting on the floor like me, then if you cross one leg straight, working for your toes, keep toes pointing up towards the ceiling, and cross the other leg so your foot is over on the floor by your knee. So that knee, now I want you to pull with your elbow across the front of your chest, sitting nice and tall. So we don't want to be slouched down whilst we're doing this. We want to be sitting nice and tall and encouraging that knee to come across at the front of our body, which means you're going to get a nice stretch here in the outside of your hip. Other hand down on the floor, and I want you to push the floor away so that you're trying to twist your chest around through that gap made by your knee. So your body is coming across the front of your thigh and you're hugging that thigh in across the front of your body. Now if you are slightly more flexible than me, you can hook that elbow across that thigh and work to get your shoulder blades onto the back of your chest, but that is really, really hard work for me. So I'm just going to do a slightly easier version if you don't mind. We focus on what we can do, that's absolutely fine. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So again, start off sitting nice and tall. Often it's how we start the move that is the most important. If we don't start well, then the move doesn't go well. So we're sitting tall, hugging that knee across the front of your body, pushing the floor away behind you and twisting your chest around. So you'll feel the stretch in the outside of your hip and your bum, in that piriformis muscle, which is another typical tight area for us because we sit for so long. And you get some movement through your back. Okay, so you should feel a little bit more movement through those twists, and your back should feel like it's moved a little. Hopefully your hips will feel a little bit more awake. Doing something little and often throughout the day is a really good plan. Doing something is better than doing nothing. So good luck with your twists for the rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend, and Movement Not Miracles will be back next Tuesday. Don't forget to check out the website www.eatmovebehappy.com. Our Live Better, Healthy Eating, Healthy Exercise online coach program starts next Friday, or next cohort starts next Friday. So if you are interested in being healthier choices and feeling happier, and would like to have some coach support with some like-minded people, then have a look on the website and get yourself enrolled. www.eatmovebehappy.com. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next week.